This guy is an asshole. Like a big, giant, angry asshole. But he's also a pipe-smoking, sunglass-wearing, body-dropping, warmonger, military genius badass. It's Douglas MacArthur in today's Motivated Moments and History. Doug was meant for military service. He was literally born in army barracks during combat. He has gone down in history as controversial, and that's because he's met no man on the planet who hasn't suffered the wrath of the egomaniacal, condescending, yet brilliant, angry dickhole known as General Douglas MacArthur. He was born in an army fort in Little Rock, Arkansas, where his dad, Medal of Honor recipient Arthur MacArthur, was stationed, and he was fighting off the ongoing attacks of the Apache tribe. Growing up in the war-ridden frontier made him tough and tested. He knew how to fight, shoot, and ride around all movie-like on a horse before he could even walk. In 1903, he graduated first in his class from West Point and was a combat engineer. His first post was in the Philippines, where he contracted and defeated malaria while dropping some jungle bandits who thought they had the cojones to take him on. He then went to Panama to work on the canal and then on to the White House to be Teddy Roosevelt's military aide for a year. There in the Oval Office, the two iconic men talked about hunting wild game, shooting big guns, pounding exotic veg, and most of all, slaying some motherfucking bodies! Once in 1914, during the Mexican Revolution, he and a buddy were riding out on horses in the Yucatan Peninsula looking for some missing trains. There, a shit ton of banditos rolled up on him and started chasing him down. While Doug and his buddy rode out, they were subject to heavy fire, and MacArthur returned fire, hitting every target, taking out 6 dudes and a fucking horse. They ended up fleeing the scene on a hand-cranked train car. When he got to safety and took off his uniform that night, he noticed 3 bullet holes in his shirt, but he had no wounds. He was shot 3 times, 0 wounds. No bruises, no sore spots, not even a freaking pimple. It's like the bullets pierced his shirt and then realized they were within microscopic distance of the iconic Douglas freaking MacArthur and about face and rolled the hell out of Dodge. He was recommended for the Medal of Honor, but the haters up in Washington said that his mission was not authorized, so he ain't getting shit. Doug then volunteered to go to France in World War I. He helped organize in the 42nd Infantry Division. He personally trained them up, and they became the long, crashing dick of democracy, and he led out front as they skull-fucked the Germans in dozens of battles. His unit was well known for being extremely proficient on trench raids. This was an operation where U.S. troops would cross over no man's land under the cover of darkness. They would negotiate minefields, barbed wire, and other obstacles, jump into the German trenches, and just beat the shit out of them. Aside from taking tons of prisoners, he was gassed a few times, shot 3 times, earned 6 silver stars, 2 distinguished service crosses, and a French Croix de Guerre. Bro, this guy left with a tackle box of ribbons that would wipe out any clothing and sales on the planet. In between the world wars, he served as West Point superintendent and as the highest ranking bastard in the Army. He was also appointed to the U.S. Olympic Committee for the 1928 Games, where he motivated the piss out of these American athletes, resulting in the U.S. getting 24 gold medals and busting 7 world records. In 1941, he was serving as a military advisor in the Philippines. The Japanese attacked the island the same time they were attacking Pearl Harbor. Like everyone else, he was caught by surprise. This didn't faze him, though. He consolidated Philippine troops and withstood constant waves of incoming Japanese ground forces. He whacked some sons of bitches in every direction. He soon moved his formation back to the Bataan Peninsula and continued to fight and destroy, personally inspiring the Filipino army to kill a fuckload of Japs. The president ordered MacArthur to evacuate, so he and his wife grabbed their kid, hopped on a tiny-ass PT boat, and floated through the Japanese line and eventually got to American refuge. When they did that, they made their way to Australia. For his bravery and heroic leadership during the Japanese invasion, he was awarded the Medal of Honor. He spent the next couple years as Pacific Commander and filled his time teabagging the Japanese on every freaking front. After slaughtering those bastards into submission, he was given the honor of personally accepting their surrender. Fast forward a few years, and North Korea decided to get froggy. These North Koreans, they weren't nothing to mess with lightly, and they soon took control of the entire Korean peninsula. His hate for commies matched with his unsurpassed military brilliance enabling him to devise several counterattacks and daring amphibious assaults, which pushed the North Koreans back across the 38th parallel and into 60 plus years of famine, disease, and bad haircuts. When it was all said and done, he retired with over 75 awards and decorations for service and valor. 70 fucking 5. That's like 6 pounds of cloth on his chest. I mean, President Trump could build his wall with Douglas MacArthur's ribbons alone. He died in 1964 due to kidney failure after a gallbladder surgery at Walter Reed. Go figure. The most badass general ever died from Army medicine. He's buried at the MacArthur Memorial in Norfolk, Virginia. And that, kids, is your Motivated Moments in History.